Welcome to the Mindset Chick podcast. If you are looking to stop settling and want to gain the clarity and confidence to manifest the life and biz of your dreams, then this show is for you. I'm your host, Kristi Dear, sharing with you simple yet powerful and effective mindset tips that will allow you to attract more abundance, prosperity, and success into your life. So get ready, get excited, and let's go manifest some amazing things together. Hey, and welcome back to the Mindset Chick podcast. I am so happy to have you here. And today we have a very special guest, somebody who I'm very excited to introduce you to, Tiffany Wynn. Tiffany is a girl mama, top network marketing leader, an online business coach who built her six-figure empire in less than a year. She helps women build their own empire, work for themselves, and slay the game by banking on one simple thing, their confidence. Her podcast, Cash In on Confidence, just recently ranked in the top 200 of entrepreneurship podcasts in the US. So, Tiffany, it's so great to have you on the Mindset Chick podcast.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm excited to be here.
Yes. So your expertise is really helping people build their confidence. So
Yes.
Why would you say that's so important?
Well, I have been on both ends of that spectrum. And when I started my business, I did it from a place of feeling really insecure about who I was, about my abilities, about what I was capable of. And I really struggled a lot with, those early years of entrepreneurship and coming from a place of doubt and lack and all of those things. And I just had a kind of like an aha moment where I was just like, why am I doubting myself? Why am I not giving myself credit of what I'm capable of and who I am and all of those things? And so it's kind of like a light bulb came on and I started to show up differently. I started to show up, with a lot more confidence, and I watched my business just explode. And I started to attract people to me in a way that I was really not doing anything differently as far as the actions in my business, but the way I was showing up was different. And it was really just such a major thing for me to see that, wow, confidence really does play such a huge role in your business.
Yes, it really, really does. And that's wonderful that you came to that realization and that aha, because so many times people get stuck in that cycle and they don't understand why their business isn't growing, why their life isn't where they want it to be. And they don't even realize that it's because maybe they're lacking that confidence and they're repeating the mantra of self-doubt and living in that story.
Oh, yeah, for sure. And I think there's just such an emphasis on the do of entrepreneurship and building a business, especially on social media. It's like, show up more, post more, do the content, all of those things. And while those things are really important, and yes, you have to take action and you have to do, I think there's really such a lack of people showing up and being like, hey, this other part of it, the mindset part of it is really, really important too. And it almost, in my opinion, can make or break the success of your business just as much, if not more, than the actual action part. So I really love what you do. And I really love, what you stand for as far as talking about mindset, because it is so needed.
Yes, I love that. And, I'm so glad you shared that because I feel you. And, I think there's so many times people are like, okay, what do I do? What do I do? Tell me what to do. I'm doing this. I'm showing up. I'm posting. I'm reaching out. What else do I do? What else do I do? Yeah. And they, haven't been taught the mindset piece. And it's so important. Yeah. And sometimes, I'll even talk with people or my team and say, okay, we're going to get together today and we're going to over Zoom or in person, we're going to do some mindset, some guided visualizations. We're going to be building our self-esteem, letting go of self-doubt, things like that. Some mindset practices. And sometimes people are like, oh, well, I really need to go to the doing, or I really need to go, post, but thank you. Maybe I'll do that.
Yes. It's like they don't take it seriously. They don't think it's that important. And I can't lie. I was one of those people for a while. I was one of the people who, really didn't think that personal development was that important. And I remember, having leaders that would, suggest podcasts or different books to read and things like that. And I'm like, I don't have time for that. Really just pushing it to the side and thinking like, I just need to keep doing the things. And I think there's also that side of where people are like, be consistent, just keep showing up, because I feel like I was doing all the things. I was working myself to death, really and truly. Like I was working so hard, and I got to that burnout place where I was just like, I don't understand why I'm not seeing results. Like, I don't understand, like I'm doing everything everyone's telling me to do. I'm putting all the action in. And finally, I feel like when I was like, okay, let me actually give this personal development thing a shot, that's when everything just shifted. And I think a lot of people are like me, and they start out and they're like, personal development, like, what is that going to do for me? Like, I'm a good person. I don't need a personal development, but I guess I just didn't realize that there are so many things that go into personal development. And it's not just about like who you are, it's about the way you think about yourself too.
Oh, yes. That's so good. And so let's say like somebody's listening and they're like, okay, well, to build my confidence, like you talked about, like shifting that and starting to build your confidence, and your business started growing and people were just more magnetized to you. What would you say to somebody? Like, how would they start building confidence?
Well, I think confidence actually is a lot of like removal. It's not as much of adding things to your plate. It's more of taking things away. So what I mean by that is I noticed how much of my confidence was rooted in me looking at other people and comparing myself to them. And so I would look at like, especially on social media, building a business on social media where you're seeing other people all the time, being in a network marketing space where you're around other women constantly, it is so easy to compare yourself. And so a lot of my confidence was looking at what other people were doing and not feeling adequate, judging who I was because they're doing it this way or they have this and I don't. And so I felt really just insecure in my abilities by looking at what other people were doing. And so for me, what really helped me elevate my confidence was deciding that I get to be confident by myself, not in comparison to anyone else. I think a lot of times we think confidence is us compared to them, but really what confidence is me today versus me yesterday. You know, it's who you are all alone. It's not about what anyone else is doing or what anyone else has. Your confidence is a solo job. And so for me, that was looking at like, okay, what things do I love about Tiffany? Not Tiffany compared to this person or Tiffany, you know, measuring up to that person. It was, who is Tiffany? What do I love about myself? And how can I magnetize those things? How can I shine those things brighter about myself? Knowing that, of course, I'm going to have flaws. And of course, there's going to be things about myself that I'm going to have to be constantly working on and improving. But the things that I feel like are really special about me, what can I do to share those things in a bigger, bolder, and brighter way? And so that's really where I started with showing up with more confidence, was looking at myself, taking that inner look at me and just seeing how I could show more of me. Because I think what I was doing before, I was shrinking myself because I was like, well, I don't have what she has. So I just need to like play small and be in this little shell. And once I removed that, and I was like, I just get to shine bright by myself. And I think that's what brought so many people to me. I talk about this a lot with my team, is that like we're each individual lighthouses. And it's our job to shine so bright that those ships that are lost in the sea see us. And they're going to draw into us because they need someone that is shining enough for them to be able to find their way, for them to be able to have a direction to go in. And so every day, that is what I think about. Like, I am shining so that someone else can see me and think, okay, it is okay for me to show up like this. And so that's really like a lot of what I love to do, is help other people see how they can shine their light.
Oh, that's really good. I love all that. That's so good. And I love that you said, that was so important that you said about the removal, because I think sometimes people think in self-development or, you know, working on their goals, they need to add things. They need to be more, add things to their life.
Yes.
It's so much about letting go of the thoughts, the actions, the beliefs that don't serve you,
Yep.
That you can, like you said, shine your light bright and magnetize you. I love that description because that's so important.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. I mean, when we look at it, I just really looked at like what some of my limiting beliefs were about myself. I used to think that I was unlikable, and I rooted that back to an experience that I had in middle school. And I was just like, wow, like this one experience that I had as a child made me think this thing about myself for the majority of the rest of my life. And then I just decided, like, why do I think that? Is that really actually true? Is it really actually true that I am unlikable? And I was like, no, I get to be likable. People love me. I get to show up and be someone that people really enjoy being in my world and being in my space. And so I started to show up like that. And I think before, because I had this subconscious belief that I was unlikable, I was showing up in ways that made me unlikable. It was like this self-fulfilling prophecy. And I think that's what we do a lot of times is we have these thoughts that we pick up from, our childhood or from media or just different things. And we start to think these things about ourselves and who we are. And then we subconsciously fulfill those things because we believe it about ourselves. And so I was thinking I'm unlikable. And so I'm like, oh, well, no one's going to want to work with me. No one's going to want to join my team. And I was fulfilling that because that was my belief. And so I started to tell myself, like, I am a really awesome, amazing person and people love to be around me. And it was so crazy that because of that thought, my team exploded. I was having people just coming to me constantly. And I'm like, I wasn't even doing anything different. I was probably working less hard than I was before, but I was growing my team faster and bigger than ever because of that simple mindset shift and me being able to show up in a way that fulfills that thought that I am likable. People want to be around me. And I watched that then fulfill itself.
Wow. That's so great. I love that. And I love it's just like this simple shift. It's like catching those thoughts and beliefs that aren't serving you and you reframing them and subscribing to a different story. And just that one mantra, not only, it changed you and how you show up and you started to believe that. And then people started to be attracted to you.
That is exactly what it is. And I think if everyone would kind of take that approach and have that kind of mindset, what they would be able to achieve would blow their minds.
Yeah, I love that because I even talk to my team a lot about like the energy that you have, how you show up, like even in a text message, even in a live video, a story, anything about you're showing up online or texting somebody, like people can feel your energy. They can feel like if you're desperate, they can feel like if you're frustrated, they can feel if you're confident, if you're excited about what you do. And that energy, even though somebody's like, okay, well, I'm doing the do and I'm trying to be happy, but on the inside, they're feeling frustrated that they're not where they want to be yet. Like people can feel that. Do you agree?
Oh, 100%. 100%. I completely agree with that. And I talk about that too. The energy that you put out is absolutely felt even through a phone screen. And I talk about that a lot too. And I like to think of results and success as your energy times your effort. And so the energy that you put out multiplied by the effort that you're putting in is what you're going to receive, is the output that you're going to get. And I think that a lot of people are only focused on the effort. They're only focused on working hard. They're only focused on doing the do, like you said, and the energy piece is lost. And they're like, but I'm sending the messages, I'm making the posts, I'm doing all the things. And it's like, but what kind of energy are you doing that from? Are you doing that from a feeling of lack and feeling like, oh, I'm going to send this message, but they're probably not going to respond? Or like, oh, I'm going to make this post about my business opportunity, but nobody's probably going to see it or no one's going to care, kind of having that energy behind it, like that is felt. But when you show up and you're showing up confidently and you're excited about it and you're like, oh my gosh, I'm so excited, about this business opportunity. And I'm really going to bring some women in here who are ready to go. People feel that difference.
Yeah.
And it makes a huge difference in the results that you're going to get.
Yes, I love that. And I have a team member, and every time she posts like about her business, the products, or, about the business opportunity, she always like sets that intention that somebody's going to reach out to me. Like she just believes it. And they always do. They always reach out by her post.
Of course, because what you believe, I say that your belief is your lid. And so however much you believe, that is where you are capped. And so if your belief is, I'm not going to be able to grow a team, no one wants to work with me, I don't have any customers, this month is slow, like business, nobody wants this product. Like if your belief is around those things, then that is your lid. That's as far as you're going to get. Or if you're thinking like, oh, I'll never be able to hit this rank, or this is as far as I'll be able to go, or, you know, all those different beliefs that you have, that's where you're capping yourself. But if you're like, oh, I can build an incredible team, like I'm an amazing leader, you know, people want to work with me all the time. That is where your lid is. And that is what you're going to be able to achieve. And so it's just a matter of switching the way you're thinking about things. And at first, sometimes like it's going to feel weird, especially if you've for years had these beliefs, you're going to not maybe believe them so fully at first. But as you keep reminding yourself of that, and as you keep silencing, I always say that like you can have these two beliefs at the same time. Whichever one is louder, whichever one is bigger, whichever one takes up more space, that's the one that wins. And so I think a lot of times we think that like if we have a negative belief, if we have like a moment of doubt or uncertainty, then like, oh, it's all over. Like, oh my gosh, my business is over because I had this negative belief. But really, was that negative belief, did it come in and you were able to shut it down right away, replace it with that bolder, bigger, you know, more positive belief right away to push it down? Or did you sit in that negative belief for hours or days or months? Like it's a matter of, I mean, we're human. I still have negative beliefs. I still have moments of doubt in myself. But now, whereas before that negative thought would linger forever and ever, now I'm able to be like, oh my gosh, why am I thinking about that? Why am I saying that to myself? Why am I, no, ma'am, we're not doing that today. You got to go. I am incredible. I can be an awesome leader. I am growing a huge team. Like those thoughts come in and they take up more space. And that then becomes what I see.
Yes, I love it. And you give those thoughts, the positive thoughts, more momentum. And yes. I love that you said that. Yeah, it's louder and it shines brighter. And, you know, so many times it can, if you've been thinking negatively for a while, it becomes a habit. So it's just creating new habits. Thinking's a habit.
Exactly.
Yeah, just creating that new habit. And then eventually it will become the norm, the way you think.
Yes.
Yes. So
for sure.
I love that. It's so good, Tiffany. I love all of your tips.
Thank you so much. Yeah, I absolutely love talking about this stuff. Never would have guessed that this would be me coming from the person who just was always so negative, so down on myself, and to now to have this. So, you know, anyone who is thinking like you're already so negative that there's no hope for you or that you know, could never be confident, any of those things, like I just want to say like you absolutely can change it around, because my husband always tells me and reminds me of like, remember when you used to think this? Remember you used to say that? Remember you used to complain so much? And I'm like, I know, it's so crazy, isn't it? So I know that there is, you know, opportunity for everyone.
Exactly. And I used to be like that too. I used to wonder why, you know, things weren't working out for me and I wasn't that happy. And I felt like, you know, the money struggle all the time. And until I realized like, okay, I was thinking and believing and feeling those things. And I was having those mantras on repeat. And yeah, it wasn't until I started shifting and becoming aware. So I love that. Yes. And yes, we have so much in common.
I know, me too.
So Tiffany, what mantra would you say that you love to like live by?
I really love to live by the mantra of that, you know, we attract what we put out. So when I am in a place where I am feeling like having one of those moments where I'm like down on myself or thinking, you know, those negative thoughts or anything like that, what I like to do is pull myself in, figure out where that's coming from, and then put out good energy. If I'm having a moment where maybe I'm feeling down, I like to go and I'll like open up my messenger and I'll go love on people. Like I'll go love on the ladies in my team and just send them a little love note and things like that. Because if I'm not feeling good, the best thing I could do is make someone else feel good, because what I'm putting out, I'm going to end up receiving back. And so that always shifts my energy. It shifts my focus when I am able to take what I am feeling, and maybe it's not in the best place, but if I can put back out the opposite of what I'm feeling, I'm going to get back that feeling eventually.
That's really good. I love that. And, that reminds me of what Tony Robbins said. He said that when you're feeling depressed, when you're feeling down, the best way to get out of that funk and shift that is put your attention on somebody else. Go do something kind to somebody else. Go love on somebody else, because you're feeling down, depressed, all those things because you're thinking about yourself, me. But taking off yourself. Yes. And go do something loving, kind, send a nice message. Like you just said, love on your team and pay it forward. And it can totally shift your mood.
Absolutely. I believe that fully. I mean, it's worked every single time for me. And I think it's just such a great way to really not only make someone else feel good and make someone else's day, but also at the same time, it's going to make you feel better too.
Yes. Well, I love it. Thank you so much, Tiffany, for sharing all of your tips and confidence builder. And it was just so great to connect with you and have you on the podcast.
Thank you so much. I loved it. And I'm so happy to be here and share this with you guys.
Yes. And so last thing, how can people connect with you and find you and learn more about you and all that stuff?
Yeah. So my two favorite places to hang out are Instagram. You can find me at the Tiffany Wynn. And I also have a Facebook group where I love to pop in and just show everybody love every now and then and give some tips. And that's at TiffanyWynnVIP.com.
Love it. Well, thanks again, Tiffany.
Thank you so much.
And remember, friend, to dream big, follow your heart, and never give up on you, because you're worth it.
Thank you for joining me today on the Mindset Chick podcast. I hope this show has you waking up every morning excited about the new manifestations you have created in your life. And if you would honor me with a 5-star review over in iTunes, I will happily enter your name in my Mindset Chick swag giveaway. Make sure you add your name to the review and I will reach out to you if you're the winner. I really appreciate you spending your time with me. Be sure to visit me at mindsetchick.com for past episodes and more gifts that will help you to manifest your dreams into reality.